Good morning. Dr. Sodhi, President, Indian Dairy Association. Dr. Dheer Singh ji, Director, NDRI Karnal. Dr. Rajorhia sir, former President of the Indian Dairy Association. We have Mr. S.S. Mann, Chairman of the IDA North Zone. And we are lucky to have Dr. Prajapati also on the dais today, as is the Chairman of the West Zone. Eminent panelists, expert moderators present over here, and then distinguished gathering of the delegates over here. I find a very good homogeneous mix of scientists, professional planners, dairy industry professionals present over here. After Dr. Sodhi has spoken and Dr. Dheer Singh has spoken, I think there is nothing which probably both of them have left anything. The only thing which I can now share with you is that my journey in the dairy industry had started somewhere in '73. That's the time when the Operation Flood had started. And from '73 to '83, there are the phases through which I have gone. And the title for this particular topic, probably, I'll be able to share some of my own experiences over here. When we talk of the dairy industry in India, I think the '73 is when we started after the Operation Flood, which is a sort of a massive agriculture project which had come up by the NDRI in the world. That laid the sort of a foundation for where we are talking of that milk deficit to self-sufficiency. When you have the milk deficit, I think a lot of things were uncovered. When you start moving from the deficiency to the sufficiency, I think a lot of things start appearing over there. I think we as India, we should be proud of what we have done it. In the last, when we are talking of the almost a half a century. India, when we are talking of in this 50 years, has brought in a lot of technological upgradation in the systems. The plant and equipment which were there, we are talking about the '70s, and the technology and the equipment which we have today, I think there's a phenomenal change has come up, which ultimately has helped the product quality. When we are talking of the system and processes, I think during this journey I have seen in '90s when all this certification processes started on the quality processes. When we talk of ISO 9000, that time it used to be HACCP or food safety standards. I think the industry has evolved. The major push, if you really look at that, when we are talking of that, there are some sort of a limited area in which we are operating, and the liberalization which happened in '90. I think in the liberalization phase when it started, all the private industry also came up. So there is a critical change which has happened, that the unorganized sector which was there had started moving into the organized sector. And after spending half a century, I am of the firm opinion, the more you have organized, the better it is. Today when we are looking at, I think the phenomenal capacity has been added up in the last post-liberalization. A lot of good brands have come up. A lot of investment has gone in the rural area. Dr. Dheer Singh ji and Dr. Sodhi had been talking about that when we talk of that supply chain challenges in the India, when we are talking of the milk procurement system, I think it starts from our rural area itself. A lot of investment has gone over there. A lot of infrastructure improvement has taken place over there. A lot of time duration which used to be, because it's a sort of a very long supply chain is there. When we say from the farmer's milk collection and coming up to the sort of a process. It's a long supply chain, and a lot of challenges are there in that particular thing. Over the period, when we look at the market, liquid milk market, I think predominantly had been with the cooperative sector and the government in initial stages, which has grown pretty well. A very one thumb rule I'm just sharing with you, that how the organized sector is happening and how the products movement is taking place. 2020, when the COVID struck the India, I think overnight you find that the movement of the customer has started moving from the unorganized to the organized, from the loose to the packed. That's a sort of a challenge. The customer were demanding. I know a couple of the manufacturing units, I know a couple of the brands which were saying that they are running out of the capacity. So there is a phenomenal trust is there of the customer. I think Dr. Dheer Singh mentioned about it. Phenomenal trust. You need to create that trust. I think I was to, before I think came over here, I was introduced that I have spent my life over here. Yes, I have spent 40 years in the liquid milk business only. And liquid milk business is a sort of a 24/7, twice a day supply. But I think not only we, a lot of other people are also doing the same thing. How fine you have a control on the entire supply chain. How fine you have the system and processes over there. How fine you have the testing system and quality systems over there. I think those things are also very important. And when we are talking of now for the last half a century, yes, there had been sort of challenges also, but phenomenal improvements have taken place. I'm just sharing, I think 5-6 months back, FSSAI had called for a meeting of the associations, all the associations of the different food sector. And dairy was also one of them. I think each of the association had done the presentation, food processors, wine, and vegetable oil, and the Indian Dairy Association, I think Mr. Hariom was there, he presented over there. When the discussion started over there, what need to be, somebody from one of the association mentioned something about the non-dairy products and their utility. You will be surprised. The response came from some of the scientific panel, and they themselves pounced that what we are talking is not correcting. When we talk of that, we are talking of in today's seminar, we are talking of the nutrients and nutritional value. When we talk of the dairy, I think the nutritional value from when we say that fat, protein, carbohydrate, we talk of the vitamin, minerals, dietary fibers. I think there is a distinct sort of an advantage when the human being is taking that. It's a complete food. I think after this, there was we were supposed to give our views over there that what we look from the FSSAI. So we presented that where the FSSAI, we need the help from the FSSAI. And I think while the CEO present over there were people who were responding. When the dairy issue came up, the CEO himself picked up, and he said that as far as the dairy sector is concerned, when we are comparing the dairy vis-a-vis the other sectors, and we conduct a sort of a surveillance samples, I'm finding the dairy sector is much, much, much better. That to be expressed. Now, when we are talking of that, there are some challenges in our safe products. When we talk of the safe product, understanding of the safe product starts from where? And who all are the concerned people for that? When we are talking of the safe product, the consumer looks for the safety. It's by his right to ask for that. But the chain also has the responsibility from the procurement to the transportation to the dairy dock or a chilling center, from the chilling center to the dairy dock to the manufacturing location. So over the period, the things have, a lot of improvements have taken place. Problem happens that today when we are talking of the social media availability and all that, you find that I'm staying in Delhi for last so many years. Every year before Diwali and in the Holi, there are some sort of video tapes which are released. They come up. I think this Diwali, or maybe it was in last year, or maybe I'm talking of in Holi period, some brand had come up with some sort of a novel thing, and they said that ghee and use some sort of a non-dairy name along with that. So people want to use the sort of a terminology. People want to enjoy the equity of the milk, but they want to go with other things. I think I just sent a message to Dr. Sodhi, and he immediately reflected back to the FSSA and told them, and immediately there was some actions over there. So the responsibility also lies on the everybody, individual also. Not that IDA will do it or every IDA has to do it. Individual also has to come up over there. And when we are talking of the contaminants and all that, yes, there may be some isolated cases, some cases will be there. But again, important thing is it the organized sector? And in the organization, is it a large? Is it a medium? Is it a small? Because the dairy also is there with a micro and small entities also. Do they have a sort of infrastructure? Do they have the sort of systems and processes over there? A lot of work has to be done over there. As far as the IDA is concerned, yes, IDA, we try to do that. I think in our journey of the 75 years, in our journey of the 75 years IDA, I think this year we have started with Dr. Sodhi spearheading that we are conducting sort of a seminars and programs across all the zones and chapters. And maybe I think I'll say that you will find a logo here also on the right-hand side. This is also part of that only. So it's a sort of a more of the awareness, more of the sort of bringing the sort of people on the same platform. Because I know almost everybody over here in the audience. Each one is an extrovert in their own areas, in their own positions. Only thing is that we need to see that if we are talking of this particular, because when we talk of the sort of a contamination, when we talk of the sort of an safe products and all that, it hurts the industry also. Because anything which you come, which is bringing a sort of a thing when we are people talking of that there is adulteration happening and this is there, it hurts the industry, it hurts the brand. So everybody has to be very open, we have to be very sort of aware of that whenever such type of thing happens, please see to it that you are also part of it. You are also there because the consumer is looking for a trust. I think we just mentioned in that. So this becomes all the more important because when I'm talking of that, I was part of the industry for the 50 years. Now, I think the phase has started where we are now talking of that India's milk production also is increasing in the last 5-6 years at the rate of 6%. Last year, we were at 222 million metric ton. This year, we are talking about 230 million metric ton. And I think the expected growth rate, the way it is there, I think in the next 25 years, I think Mr. Sodhi has a thumb rule. He says that it triples. So I think this triple to what we are talking of last year will go to somewhere around 640 billion metric ton. And the consumption that time is envisaged to be 500 metric ton. So there is clearly a sort of a surplus of around 100 million ton. And if that 100 million ton, which is there, if we don't start today on that particular journey, that yes, we want to have us, because while we are number one, we also in the milk production, the world also looks at us as a sort of, are we number one in the quality also? So number one in the quality also is equally important. And India can do it. Because like I was sharing that the technology changes have come up. In the rural area, the changes have come up. Chilling centers are there. Cooling systems have improved. Electricity supply has improved. Almost a decade back, when I was setting up some system for the producer company in the rural areas, we said that we will buy the milk from the farmer with the digital thing. Testing should happen over there. Digital data upload should happen. No manual interface and all that. The first thing is that is the data availability is there. Is there? Yes, we found some challenges in some of the area, but we said that no, it will happen with that same testing system where the digital things are there. So things are available today. We need to keep a pace with that. And when we are talking of that the challenges are there, I was there with in NDRI. I think that time Dr. A.K. Srivas was there. So I just shared my thoughts like we are talking of that on the contaminants, adulterant. So I said, Dr. Saab, this is what the industry is also facing, the challenges. So now what is to be done? And new adulterants are coming up, new sort of So he mentioned and I still remember those memories are very fresh with me today also, after maybe more than a 2 decade or something like that. He said that, Mr. Khosla, the more the science is progressing, the more technologies are coming up. Earlier, the accuracy for testing used to be in somewhere milligram, microgram. We are talking of the part per billion. Now we are talking about part per trillions also. So the things are coming up. Yes, awareness is coming up. And that's how I think the pesticides, radio, heavy metals, they all came up in the last decade only, which we are testing and all that. So all those things will happen, but yes, we also need to keep a change, sort of our own pressure on that. Yes, we are competing with them. And today, when we are talking of that FSSAI standards, when we are talking of, they are in par with the whatever the Codex standard, because internationally we are talking of the alignment. Somewhere in 92, there is a small incident I'm just sharing with you that we in 94, I think I have my colleagues from Mother Dairy over here, Anil sir and R.K. Gupta. 94, we started off the ice cream. And that time it used to be reserved for the small scale. So when we started off, so we saw that what the things are there, and when we started looking at our own system, we said that probably we'll have to do a lot of changes over there. So we did a lot of changes over there, adoption of the new things over there, system and processes over there. The most important part is that when we have started off, one thing which struck the team over there, that we need to take a sort of an export certification. So when we talked of the export certification, the people in our own employees and all that, they said that, are we going to export? So I said, yes, we'll export. But I don't think we had the intent also to exporting the ice cream. But establishing the export protocols in the organization, so that when we talk about that the export we make a sort of a good quality product. But when we say that indigenous, probably those standards are not. So we said we'll apply those export standards only over there. And I think hopefully it is still continuing over there. So the phenomenally a professional planner, milk producers, Dr. Dheer Singh has given always a sort of a helping hand to the industry also. And today also he was talking, yesterday evening we were talking with Dr. Prajapati. So we said that we need some help. So I said he is the one person who is always ready to help. So research people are there with us. So I think we need to come together and we will find the solution. I don't think, hopefully I am not charting on the sort of and talking for the second session, which is going to happen on the technical session. I think more eminent panelists are here. They will come up and give more ideas and things. But I think this is what, from the practical perspective, I can share with you. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.